They want to live, I guess. Just be alive.
Anything else that comes to mind?
Be free.
Okay, so we were out on Western Campus asking people a couple questions about speciesism, the social justice issue of using or consuming animals, and it went really well. So since it was so successful, we decided to make a video to share with people about how we got people to talk to us, what the questions were, and what some of the philosophy was and the research behind why we took the approach that we did. So the very first step was, how did we get people to talk to us?
Hi, excuse me, we're doing a project at Western where we ask people a question about a social justice issue. Would you be willing to answer a couple questions for us?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, thanks. What do you think or guess speciesism means?
Um, I don't know. I've never heard of that before, so I don't know. I don't have much of a guess on that.
Nobody knows it.
No.
Okay, so in Canada, like a dog and a pig, do we view them equally?
No, probably not.
Next question, is it necessary to use or eat animals?
I would necessary? No.
So the reason we ask if it's necessary to use or consume animals is to make sure before we move forward that it's clear that we are doing it and it's very normal, but it's not necessary for survival. Sometimes people will say, yes, it is necessary. And in that case, we will say if they know anyone who does not use or consume animals, and if they say yes, then we say, well, then we are in agreement that most of us are doing it, but it's not necessary for survival.
Next question, like a pig or a cow, what do they want or what do they need?
They want to live, I guess. Just be alive.
Anything else that comes to mind?
Be free. Uh, food. They need food, water, and all that basic needs.
They need that emotional attachment and stability, which is not provided at all in animal agriculture.
They want to be with their mom.
Absolutely.
They want to play. So how would you picture a shift in our community so that we cared about what animals wanted?
I have no idea. I feel like it's obviously very common for people to have dogs and it's less common for people to have like pigs as animals. So I feel like if we had certain centers to care better for pigs and to have, you know how they have like cat cafes?
Yeah.
They should have like a pig
I
cafe.
love it. A pig cafe. Oh my
Pigs
gosh, I
are just
love it.
the pigs are adorable. So I mean, we should have something for them as well.
And this is really important because it invites them into the dialogue, and you will be amazed. You will hear something that sounds like they've been vegan for 20 years. Oh, we need more awareness, we need a movement, we need animal rights, all kinds of things that people say when they are thinking about how we have this change. And the fact that it's not confrontational really helps to open this dialogue.
Bring dogs into their lives and they say, oh, this is my dog, he's part of my family, like, oh, he's like my brother or something, and I think they should do that with other animals as well.
Do you think it's possible in London that people could stop eating animals or to let them live without harming them?
Yes, I think it's possible. Yeah.
How do we do it? What do we do to help stop it?
Maybe ban.
That's a really good idea. Maybe talk about it with people, right? Let them see some pigs and some cows.
Maybe see the pig. Maybe letting the people see the pigs play and the cows and stuff. Maybe they will care more for them.
Maybe for school, you could visit a sanctuary to see the animals when they're just in their natural life.
Yeah.
You have the interviewee do most of the talking. So that meant we asked open-ended questions, or mostly open-ended questions. And this was to facilitate self-discovery in the interviewee. So we didn't want to explain anything because most people don't want to be lectured, and people remember their own words more than they remember what somebody else told them.
Okay, maybe it is support now that I think about it. Less demonization, like attacking personally on people who are just trying to get by a lot of the time. Because for me, I know my great grandfather was a farmer. His dad was an immigrant, but he moved into the farming community right away. My grandfather's a farmer. My dad is a farmer. All of my family, aside from myself and my sister, farmers. And it's not easy to get out of. It's not a big choice that a lot of people make. A lot of people serve it passionately, obviously, but they don't have much of a choice, you know? I think communicating change as far as that goes, be just not demonizing people as much because we care about the animals, obviously.
And do you think most people are aware of like the billions of dollars spent on advertising for like got milk and beef, it's what's for dinner, and how it impacts our thoughts about animals?
Probably not. It's probably just because they probably see it so often. It's something that's been going on for years and years that they just don't pay any attention to it or think about things behind that.
And do you think it affects us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's about people in general, but often you can see them thinking that, okay, this was not something they'd ever thought about before.
Well, do you think words like beef, meat, pork, they commodify the bodies of animals so we think of them as a product?
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of like a package in the store.
Yeah.
For me, for 29 years, I had a plate, and I never thought, was she a mother? How old was she? Like you said, did she see sunlight? Does she like watermelon? Do you think people think about this when they're about to eat or have an animal on their plate?
For sure not.
Kings, these cows
Yeah.
are kings, but then the process to which they go when they're slaughtered is very humane. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm rambling. I had an end goal at some point, but like, no, I don't think it's. Yeah,
Would you
sorry.
be willing to say more about the humane slaughter?
It's painless as far as we're concerned. Through sedation and methods of killing the animal itself. I mean, a lot of the times it's not fun. It's not a happy thought, obviously, but not much is.
Why do you think we feel that way when we see the animal being killed?
It's a sentient being. You appreciate this animal's life, or at least I do personally. I can't speak for farmers in Canada or Ontario or Manitoba or wherever the hell, but it's, you know, it's, these things can look at you and they can acknowledge you and they can interact with you and stuff. So it's, you just know that that animal means something. It knows it's part of something. I don't know.
So one thing is we make sure to say we or us instead of you, so that we call them in or invite them in and we're not seeming like we're attacking them.
The next thing that was really important was that we emphasized agreements. So even if the person said something that we were not in agreement about, but they also said something we were in agreement, we picked the thing that we were in agreement about, confirmed it, and skipped to the next part. So when they leave the interaction with a positive feeling, that they connected, they felt their dignity was intact, and it was just an open conversation, they're much more likely to potentially do their own research after the interview. The next thing that is a little bit more complex is that we decided not to use moral evaluations. We wanted to make it animal-centric and focus on the needs of this little guy. So we asked people what a pig would like or need, and avoided words like wrong, immoral, unjustified, in order to make the conversation about the animals and to stop it from becoming a defensive type of conversation. To reflect back to the interviewee what we heard them say. So paraphrase or ask a question about what they said, to show them that we're seeking to understand and not to inform. This is one of the keys to highly effective, successful communication, is to first seek to understand before you seek to be understood. Okay, so it might seem a bit overwhelming. We've given a lot of information and a lot of different aspects to the interview, but basically it's 3 to 6 questions. We want to introduce the concept of speciesism. We want to confirm that it's not necessary for our survival to use them or consume their bodies. And then we want to talk about it as a social justice issue and how we can change the social norms together. We did not use the word vegan. We focused on the social justice issue of what the animal wants. Well, this was based on a philosophy by Oscar Horta, who did a lot of public speaking and came to the conclusion that when they were talking first about the social justice issue and speciesism, and he did not say the word vegan and he did not make a request, it was the most effective approach. That people went home to consider it thoughtfully themselves and make their own decision, and people stick to their decision much more when they've reached that decision on their own. To end the interview, we thank them for their time, and sometimes we will offer them a leaflet about speciesism. And because we've engaged in a way where we're both equals and we're talking about the social justice issue together, they will often ask us questions, thank us very much. They will say, mind blown, we hadn't thought of this before. And so it opens up an opportunity if they want to ask questions about the personal side of it, which is how do they cook something, or about health, now that we've really established the animals' needs and how we focus as a community on their needs. So on behalf of her, we want to thank everyone for going out there and being active and taking time to speak up for the animals.